Hello everyone, today we will discuss band theory. As we all know that energy levels of electrons in an atom are quantized. I mean to say that all the electrons in an atom occupy different energy levels. As we know, some of the electrons are placed in first energy level, some are placed in outermost cell. Even in the same cell, some of the electrons occupy s orbital, some of the electrons occupy p orbital, while some in d orbitals. And the reason behind is that each of these electrons occupy different energy levels. But when we are talking about an array of atoms, just like the way we have in metallic crystal, these atoms are so closely spaced that the outermost cell electron in each of these atoms are affected by a number of nuclei. As you can see here, suppose this valence electron. It is affected by a number of nuclei neighbor, and that's why the reason this electron no longer localized to a particular nuclei and jump out from its own position and belong to a number of nuclei. Similarly, for other neighboring nuclei, all the valence electrons, outermost cell electron, jump out from its own position and occupy different energy levels. And these electrons' energy levels are so closely spaced, they form a series, and these series of energy levels of these electrons can be grouped in the form of bands. As you can see here that suppose this is y-axis and here we are plotting energy. As we are moving in the upward direction, energy increases. So the energy levels of these electrons form a series which are closely spaced to one another. Okay, and as you can see, it appears like a band. That's why these are called energy band instead of energy labels. Actually, these are the energy levels of valence electrons which are grouped together and form energy band. These energy bands are not continuous, but there are certain energy levels which are not occupied by any of the electrons. And that's why the reason, again after a certain energy level, electrons occupy higher energy level which are again in a series and can be grouped in the form of bands. So we are having another energy band. Okay, and always there remain a gap between a number of energy bands. The lowest possible energy band is called valence band, and the higher energy band is called conduction band. Okay, since valence band is more closer to the nucleus, electrons are first filled up in valence band, and most of the times valence band are full filled with electrons. On the other hand, conduction band, which is farthest from the nucleus, are filled up after the valence band, and that's why these are partially filled and sometimes remain empty. This concept of energy bands is called band theory. This band theory helps us to understand the concept of electron flowing mechanism in conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Let's see in case of conductors, the mechanism of flow of electrons. If we draw a line, and this line is representing energy, y-axis is representing energy. Okay, and this is valence band and conduction band. The energy gap between valence band and conduction band is so small enough that electrons of its own, even at the room temperature, can jump from valence band to conduction band. And it is to be noted that the most important thing here is that flow of electrons. If electrons can flow easily from one part of conduction band to another part of conduction band, or from valence band to conduction band, then they are capable of allowing electricity and heat through it, and substance is categorized as conductors. So the main thing is that electrons easy movement, whether the electrons can easily move from one part to another part, it will decide the conductance in the given substance. So in this case, the energy gap between the valence band and conduction band is so small enough that even if valence band is fully filled with the electrons can jump from valence band to conduction band and can move freely in the conduction band. And that's why the reason conductors can allow the flow of electricity or heat through it easily. Sometimes it is also observed that in some of the conductors, the valence band and conduction band overlaps to one another. In such a scenario, there will be very easy movement of electrons from valence band to conduction band. Okay, let's see the case of insulators. In case of insulators, the energy gap between the valence band and conduction band is so large that this huge amount of energy cannot be supplied to the molecule so that the electrons can flow from valence band to conduction band, or somehow if it is supplied, in such a scenario the substance may become unstable. And that's why substances like polymers, rubber are not capable of allowing the flow of electricity through it, only because electrons cannot flow. Valence band is fully packed, so electrons cannot flow in this uh, part of valence band, and even the electrons cannot jump from valence band to conduction band. The energy gap is so large, and that's why the reason um, some substances are cannot capable of allowing flow of electricity through it, because electrons cannot flow easily from valence band to conduction band. Now let's see the scenario of semiconductors. The energy gap between valence band and conduction band in case of semiconductors is intermediate between conductors and insulators. So it is the energy gap between, this is the energy gap, and this energy gap between valence band and conduction band, it is lower than insulators, but it is higher than conductors. And that's why the reason uh, suf- uh, sufficient amount of energy is required to allow the flow of electrons from valence band to conduction band, and it cannot occur just like the way conductors of its own. Whenever a sufficient amount of energy is supplied to the substance, then after the electrons from valence band to conduction band can flow, and the substance behaves start to behave like a um, conductor. The mechanism of flow of electrons can be explained on the basis of flow of positive holes, or sometime it is also explained on the basis of flow of negative electrons. When electron jump from its own position to another position within the conduction band, then it leaves behind a hole, and these holes are positively charged. So this positively charged hole, when created, this newly formed positively charged may occupied by a nearby electrons. So when these electrons are moving from one part of conduction band to another part, it seems as if positive holes are moving instead of electrons. So sometimes it is also called that the flow of electrons in semiconductors is due to the movement of positive holes, or sometimes it is also called movement of negatively charged electrons. So the flow of electrons can take place by two mechanisms, by the flow of positive holes or by the flow of negatively charged electrons. And this type of conduction is called intrinsic conduction. The conduction mechanism in semiconductors is called intrinsic semiconduction. It is called intrinsic intrinsic conduction. And there is another category of conduction which is called extrinsic conduction. We will see in next time.